welcome to episode 16 of the current Backloggers. The date is May 28th. I'm your host, KCP, along with my good friend and co host, Cody G. Cody, how are you today?
I'm really great.
I was
I'm
trying to look at you
comforted.
the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, that felt like an NPR or smooth jazz or something.
Yeah, as I was going for NPR, but I could see the other corner of my eye, so I couldn't keep it straight.
Uh, it was good though, buddy. I
Oh,
feel
thank you.
comforted.
So, what have you been up to, guy?
Well, this feels weird just because we just tried this, but I'll start off the top. So my basement flooded last week, and then we had a company come out and put some fans and a dehumidifier down and take up our trim. I took up the carpet, they took up the trim, and che- checked our wood floors for us. So 2 days or a day before they're supposed to come out, the AC unit. There's a pipe on the AC unit that sometimes algae. It's really nasty. This like jelly stuff forms in it, and it will clog it up, and it will cause your AC unit to leak. And I didn't notice the leak, and water went all over the same exact spot that had flooded prior.
Uh huh.
And so the next day, when the guy, well, then I came upstairs and was like trying to figure this out with my dad because at the time I thought my furnace was leaking water, and I was like, furnaces should not be leaking water. But I found out there's a difference between your furnace and I think an air control system. When you buy a house, you will learn. I remember the inspector. I was like, "Yeah, I don't know shit about houses." He's like, he kind of laughed. And he's like, "Oh, you'll learn." And I was like, "What the hell does that mean? Like, is something gonna happen to this house that I don't notice?" And then sure as shit, you learn about all these great things that you're supposed to check all the time, and I never checked. But yeah, so water went all over the same spot again. I come upstairs, and my girlfriend had bought a laptop recently. She spent a lot of money on, and um, right after that happened, she opened it, and the hinge came off of the case and shot through the touch screen of the laptop and broke it. Um, and the guy comes out the next day to pick up the dehumid. I thought he was scared to pick up the dehumidifier and fans, but he only showed up with a small van and this meter and went around and was like, "Yeah, it's still wet." And he was like, "But it's really spontaneous moisture." And I was like, the areas that he was pointing out was the areas that the AC had just made wet again. And he's like, "Yeah, it's really odd," but I never told him that was because the AC flooded the night before. So he wanted to leave the equipment. We had no plans of ever taking the equipment, but in 5 days, I think we were pushing over $1,200 in rental fees already.
Uh huh.
There was 10 items and it was $25 per, and I think the dehumidifier is 50, and then there's installation, and it's it's quite the fee with that stuff. I can't think of anything else that you would rent that would be that expensive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think a car rental would be that expensive. $250 a day.
No, definitely not.
So times five, what is that? 1250.
Yeah.
Um, and that's not even installation fee. So we're probably somewhere over $1,500 in 5 days. So I was kind of, I'd had enough, and I was kind of pissed that he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna send him back. They're gonna rip out your drywall and installation and all that stuff. And I was like, oh man, I know those areas are wet because of the AC unit. So I just said, can you take him out now? And he wasn't happy to hear that. I was like, yeah, you gotta get these out of here, man. I was really proud of myself. I was like, man, I was assertive and aggressive. And we got him out of here. And then he's like, sure, and took him out and made me sign this paper. And he's like, just so you know, if something ever goes wrong, insurance company not going to be held responsible. And was like real dramatic about it. And then about 30 minutes after he left, I was like, fuck, did I do the wrong thing? Thinking like, damn. I started thinking about his spiel. I was like, man, Is the insurance company really going to come back on me? So then it got my anxiety going nuts, thinking I did something wrong.
Yeah.
But eventually I talked to my dad, and it's like, oh, just chill out. It's no big deal. We'll take your drywall out, get it fixed. Because I didn't realize drywall patching is actually kind of easy. You can
Hmm.
watch some YouTube videos on it. My dad's done it a bunch, so I'm not going to pay someone crazy amount of money to do that, especially after they already charged me probably $1,500 for fan rental,
Yeah.
and removal of trim, and for them to put a meter on the wall and go, yeah, this is wet. Um, so that's really the only thing I've been up to. I went outside, I bought some cement to secure our mailbox because I didn't realize this, but our mailbox is just secured with like rocks. And I was like,
Oh,
the
yeah.
hell? So I watched some videos on how to secure your mailbox and was like, yeah, I'm going to Home Depot, dude. I'm a homeowner. I could fucking cement, dude. I got this. So I went out there, and the mailbox is not even, it's not even in the ground. Um, it's just like the post broke off, and the house flipper was like, I just prop it up with some rocks. And they did it with decorative rocks and made it look pretty, so I didn't even realize when we were looking at the
Yeah.
house. Um, our AC unit's still messing up. Um, I didn't realize this either, but our AC unit's 40 years old, and I think you're supposed to maybe replace those every 10 years.
Hmm.
So we got someone coming out tomorrow to look at it, and then possibly looking at getting replaced next Thursday. So now I'm watching how to install a new mailbox. It's weird, man. I have no free time. I haven't been able to play any video games this whole week. Just tying up carpet and freaking out.
Man, yeah, that's depressing. Also, tying up carpet sounds like a euphemism for something else. But
Especially because it's a wet, moist carpet that it's really soggy and feels disgusting to hold and all that. And
all that.
then then last night my girlfriend's cell phone was plugged in, and the charging port where it plugs into the phone
Hmm.
melted off and caught on fire for a few seconds and made some smoke and
Huh.
um, burnt the side of the phone. It's been weird, man. I'm gonna knock on some wood over here because I feel like someone's put a hex on us, or just like a minor voodoo, like a minor inconveniences. Nothing like a serious voodoo, like oh people are
Yeah.
sick or dying or something. Just like a the only way I could put it was like a almost like a funny farm, or what was that Tom Hanks one where they bought a money pit with Tom Hanks,
Yeah.
or a funny farm with Chevy Chase.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm somewhere in between there. Because it's like, oh, that's why you have emergency funds. But man, that was going quick. That's going right out the window real fast. Um, yeah, and when about 4 days before all this stuff started happening, we got a puppy, and I was thinking, man, if we knew this was gonna happen, we probably wouldn't have gotten a puppy.
You shouldn't say it to the puppy. Have you like telling a baby it's a mistake?
This is all you're supposed to do to build character.
Yeah, you gotta be honest with them. Um, it's funny you brought the puppy up, actually. Somebody that was watching last episode said we talked about it for like 5 minutes, but didn't say what kind of dog it was.
Oh, it's a mutt. I don't know. Its mom's the only thing they told us because it's a rescue is a full bred German Shepherd that um, had gotten pregnant. I don't know, and that's usually how puppies happen. You gotta get pregnant. But I think it's one of the big dog breeds. They think it's, oh gosh, a Mastiff, English Mastiff mixed with a German Shepherd is what they think.
Okay.
But we have a DNA kit, so once we do the DNA kit, I could actually, I could show you his whole family lineage, and its
Oh
health
God.
stuff.
Did you have to, did that come with the dollar DNA kit, or was that something you bought?
No, I bought it for our anniversary. Renee's very curious about that stuff, but
Yeah.
they think it's a English or a bull mastiff. I don't know what that's called. A mastiff and German Shepherd mix.
I gotcha. Um. So no fun times lately, though.
It's okay, man. Nobody's sick. No one's dying.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy. Nothing we can handle. Can't handle. My dad, fortunately, is really good with this stuff, so I can just
Yeah.
pick up a phone and ask him what to do, and um, he's been incredibly helpful. And Renee's family is the same way, because both her brothers have owned a house, and of course her dad's owned a house, so they've got all these connections or little pointers. And I
Yeah.
mean, I'm learning a lot, man. It's insane. Like I never would have thought I'd be doing drywall or putting in a new mailbox or just learning how. And then I've kind of fallen in love with I hated this TV show when I was a kid, but I think it's called This Old House. You ever watch that show?
Uh huh.
Oh yeah, I've kind of fallen in love with that show. Makes me wish I had one of those. So essentially, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show, but essentially, it's a contractor comes out to people's houses, like idiots like me that don't even know how to do the basics of things, and then he kind of sits off to the side and tells you what to do. It kind of does it in like a real easy version, so you can, as also myself as an idiot, I can watch these other people learning and be like, oh, okay, that's how you do that. Like that's how I learned how to install my new mailbox.
Yeah.
Well, I will be installing next week. Yeah.
Okay.
So then our garage door doesn't work either. Um, it's a weird thing, man. But I was chopping down trees with a chainsaw with my dad too.
Mm-hmm.
That's been an experience learning chainsaws. But my my neighbor next door, I really like him. Initially, I felt really weird, but I was starting to really like him. I mean, I'd say they're hoarders, and their grass gets pretty long, and they really don't care about stuff. Which I'd prefer that than having someone being like, giving you shit because you didn't do something wrong. I'd rather have someone that's like that than someone that's
Yeah.
anal about stuff. But so we're chopping down trees on the property line. I might have told this already, or he comes out with his shirt off and he has his like hands like this.
Yeah. I think you did this last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got his like hands up here with his shirt off, just staring at us, and with this pit bull barking aggressively at us. So it's like, man, this guy really hates me. He hates them chopping down these trees that kind of block his, because it was blocking a large portion of his outside hoard. It was like he's got like kids' toys out there mixed with like Christmas decorations and some bunch of old grills and mowers, and so that my trees were kind of covering that, and then me taking them down, I think it pissed him off because it meant like he had to clean up.
Uh huh.
But so I was like, I'm tired of feeling this animosity between us. So I was like, I'm just gonna go introduce myself. And he is the nicest guy in the world. His name's Bill, and he was super nice, and he's lived here for 20 years, and he's telling me all about his house and himself, and really nice guy.
Huh.
He
It's a.
just like still stare at me with his shirt off. Yeah, I really like Bill. He's also got this really great car too that it has neither a fender nor a bumper, and it sounds like someone's starting a tank in the mornings because I think it has no exhaust system.
Uh huh.
So he's a character, and I love him. I probably am really not gonna like this when I go to sell this house though, because I enjoy that kind of stuff, but I'm sure people that want some sort of normalcy wouldn't want that next door. But yeah, Bill's a pretty cool guy. I'll try to keep the podcast updated weekly on my friendship with Bill if we can keep this going.
Okay. Hopefully, with your luck, you don't come back and yeah,
He
Bill's dead.
he murdered me. This is my ghost. Bill is actually a murderer. What have you been up to though, buddy? I feel like I just went on forever about myself.
Oh no, you're good. I haven't been up to a whole lot, but almost nothing really negative. So it seems weird. You're just taught this whole time. Oh, I did some fun stuff, but but well, actually, we got our first email ever, which goes into what I've been doing this week. It's
What? Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's from Danielle, which is
Oh,
not surprising since my girlfriend. But what it is surprising, and it should not be. I shouldn't even read it. She was like, "I sent you an
really?
email, so you have your first one," and I was like, "Oh, awesome." All right, so I'll read it word for word. Casey, you keep saying you work your usual 40-hour work week, but you only work 36 hours a week right now. Please correct this
Oh
horrid
man.
mistake. Thanks, Danielle. So I was about to say I work my normal 40-hour work week, but yeah, right now we're only working 36-hour work weeks. So I just thought I'd talk about our first email, unsurprisingly being from my girlfriend, but not supportive and not like, hey, what's this? And like supporting it, just destroying me. So yeah, I've been working my normal 36-hour work week. But that actually, I don't know what our schedules are going to be yet, but they said on June 7th we're going to go back to a 40-hour work week, so it's kind of ironic. But so soon I'll figure out what my new hours will be. And besides that, I've actually been up to a couple things, which is not the case lately, as you know. We had a cookout for Memorial Day at my sister's house, so that was a lot of fun. Me and Daniel went over, and my whole family was there, and my niece was there, so it was fun just feeling kind of normal. It was really nice weather, and she has a little pool out there she was playing with, and just nice feeling normal and be able to do something outside and be with people again. And
That's awesome, man.
yeah, you would have loved it. She's obsessed with bugs right now. So when I got there, she can't. I mean, she kind of said some words, but she can't really talk completely. I was gonna say she called me over, but she does like a kid does, like gives signals or like makes noises and says certain words to call me behind their shed. And then she started pointing at these rocks, and I picked up. Ooh, and like kneeled down, and there's all these bugs just crawling around. Ooh, and there was a roly poly, and I picked it up, and it rolled into a ball, and I thought she was thinking it was cool, so I held it up for her, and she's like, "Pea?" Because she always eats peas. And I was, no, 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 no.
He just eats it.
Yeah, she definitely would, especially if the kid trusts anything. So she would have definitely. I was like, yeah, go for it. And I'm sure her, she probably wouldn't have noticed. Probably was ate a bug, but yeah, she's obsessed with it. So we had to do it like 5 different times. She was playing the pool and do like I said, not really call me over, but essentially that, and run behind the shed again. And I lifted up, and there was a worm in there this time. And I picked it up, and oh look, ooh, and then ran over and got this bucket and had me put it in the bucket.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
this nasty
That's
worm
so
was all
cute.
slimy. She looked at it, cute, and then looked at me. And I was, oh my god, this. And
That's
then
great.
she thought she found another one. We even thought she found another one. She's coming on the porch and super excited. And oh, and then jumped back off the step. And she kneeled down and put her hands on her knees again. Still got real close. And she picked up a stick because she thought it was a worm. And
She picked up a what?
a stick because it did look
A
just like
st-
a worm. But I even thought it was a worm. But she was so confused. Um, so that was a good time, and all that kind of nonsense never gets old to me. I could do that shit all day.
Dude, you know you guys should have a bug party for her. Like get like one of those dirt cakes and put
Oh
like
yeah,
gummy worms in it and shit, and then get her like a bunch of those dumb little plastic bugs.
yeah. We'll see how long it lasts. If it lasts, that might be a good idea. The first time she saw an ant, she was downstairs, and I wasn't there for it, but my mom, and my sisters were, and she was looking at it, and she was completely fine when it was crawling across the floor. And then when it climbed up the wall, she started crying and ran away. And then, but now she's obsessed
Oh
with it and
man,
lifts up rocks to see them and grabs them, and so I don't know. Kids are so weird.
Um, what if you lifted up one of those rocks and there's a big spider there?
I was worried about that. Yeah, I mean, it's a little kid, but that thing was just gonna be dropped right back down, and those bugs were gonna be dead.
Just gonna witness murder.
Yeah, I mean, it was gonna happen though. I thought about that, and there definitely could have been one, but I didn't see any, so I just acted like there wasn't any there. Um,
Um,
no, go
I have
ahead.
to ask you something though.
Uh huh.
What do you eat at a cookout?
Um, what I ate at this cookout was Massey's Pizza from delivery.
That's great, buddy.
Yeah, it was a good time. I hadn't had Massey's for a while. It was delicious. The only thing I would eat, I kind of like corn on the cob. I just don't really corn on the cob. I just don't really care about it. And then I like grilled cheese, but not a lot of people actually make those on a grill. You can, but most people just make them on a stove. So we just ordered pizza because it was easier. Because everybody's eating hamburgers, steaks, all the normal stuff.
Yeah. Now, do you dress up your corn on the cob like butter and salt?
Yeah, I can't actually remember the last time I had corn on the cob. I used to eat it all the time as a kid, so that's something I would eat. But that's exactly what I did. Just a ton of butter and salt.
That's great.
And then besides that, I went to a couple of drive-in movies, which that was a ton of fun. I could talk about I guess I could talk about that more in the movies we've been watching. But that's all I've been up to.
Nice.
And then
Sounds like a lot of fun.
yeah, and then I guess I could have done an email here for the corrections, questions, and feedback. But yeah, my work week apparently that's a big issue to one viewer only. Um, and then the other thing was the sound that we talked about that we thought we fixed last week was issue again last episode with only coming out one headset or one side of the headset. But we did figure out how to do it. But by the time I rendered it, that episode already passed through. So this one will be good. I said that last time, but I messed it up last episode. Did you have anything, Guy?
No,
No. Okay.
no. But sometimes I listen back, man. I worry that my mic sounds a little too high,
Really?
which should be on my end. But if you think it sounds okay, because we kind of talked about it before this.
Yeah, I think it sounds okay. The only time I hear it really jump is when you like move in on it. It sounds like it's like kind of almost muffled because it's close, but that's the only time I notice anything.
Cool, cool.
So if you have any corrections, questions, or feedback, you can be the second one ever, and I feel like I said really the first one, but you can be the second one
No,
ever,
Danielle was the first one.
and send to currentbackloggers at gmail.com. You got any news this week?
Uh, no, I do
Yeah,
not.
it was really light this week. This might be a short episode in general. The only things I saw were PlayStation did another state of play for The Last of Us 2, but we
Yep.
both talked about this week if we want to talk about it. And I wasn't thinking, for one, you haven't beat the first one, so you probably wouldn't want to see it in general. But for me, I've seen too much of the game already. I know I'm going to play it. And anytime you click a video of The Last of Us, it's just a roll of the dice if you're going to get spoiled or not. I'm not worried about getting spoiled on Sony's end, but comments or who's ever on the video or whatever. And then I know we always talk about sacred symbols. Colin always talks about how once he knows he likes a game or is going to play a game, he doesn't want to see anything else from it. I definitely don't go that far. Like Halo, every time there's a new trailer, I want to see one of those. But there is a certain point at just some games I've seen enough, and like Last of Us, I feel like I've seen too much of it, so I don't want to see any more. So I don't think I'm the far end of that where if I know I'm going to play a game, I don't want to see anything because those trailers, like the Halo trailers, jack me up so much, get me excited for it that I feel like it builds up excitement for it. But I do think there's a certain point where it reaches a point where you feel like you've seen too much of it and don't want to see any more, and that's definitely where I'm at with The Last of Us.
So you know what's funny though is right after State of Play, I'm sure it was planned, but Sony had already had trailers before YouTube videos ready.
Oh, really?
Um, I was watching something and I was like, oh god, skip, 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 because it's literally a clip from the first one that it was playing to
Huh.
introduce whatever they're getting ready to introduce in the
Hmm.
trailer for the second one.
Interesting.
So it was right after the state of play.
Hmm. Um, and then the Summer Game Fest, which is one that Jeff Keighley's hosting. He said they'll be showing more about the Avengers game on June 24th. I know both of them are top 10 list, and so that's something to look forward to. I'm wondering, his thing was the one that was supposed to run from May till August. So the fact that they're announcing this, I don't know if that means that's the next thing they're going to be showing, or if they're just going to keep announcing stuff, because that seems like a long wait between this and Tony Hawk or Unreal Engine. I can't remember which one was the last one. But it seems like a long wait between those two.
No, I was about to say the same thing, man. If that's true, you should just have it in chunks and not been like, oh, it's all 4 months.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it's possible he announced this and then tomorrow, a week, whatever, he'll announce another thing. But I feel like usually you don't want to do that because then you're overshadowing it. You usually want to announce your next one. But I mean, he could always be show something 2 weeks from now and then build up hype for Avengers. So hopefully there is something in between the last one and this one. And then the only other thing I saw was Xbox was talking a lot more about their backwards compatibility. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. I must have missed that.
There's all kinds of crazy specs, but I'm not the best at that. The most interesting thing I saw, though, the quick resume feature they've been talking about on Xbox Series X?
Yeah. The you can bounce around to different games and start off right where you were.
Yeah, so they said that's going to be work on every Xbox One game you play on it as well, which I thought was really cool. I did not expect that.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. I just don't know. I know people said this 100 times, but Microsoft just must have better software engineers
Mm-hmm.
or just a better understanding. Honestly, I think it boils down to probably a better organization of software so they're able to do this stuff. Because it seems like Sony and Nintendo kind of dropped the ball on that in that
Yeah.
department.
Yeah, I feel like definitely Sony. I feel like Nintendo probably intentionally does it because they're so old school.
Yeah, they like to
But
make that money too, make you
yeah,
buy stuff 4 or 5 times.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And obviously worse for them because we talked about how they have more money in the bank than Microsoft and Sony combined, which is fucking ridiculous.
It's
But
crazy.
um, yeah, you guys should look at it. It's like I said, there's all kinds of crazy specs talking about Xbox One games and how it worked with it, and it was all super impressive. But I don't have it in front of me, and like I said, a lot of that stuff I don't even understand. But I thought that was one thing that stood out that I knew Xbox Series X games would have that feature, but I did not expect Xbox One games to be able to work like that too.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm excited. As long as something crazy doesn't happen around here, let me knock on some wood down here. I want to try and get the both consoles at launch.
Oh, really? You're gonna do both?
I'm gonna try definitely Xbox, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to get the Sony. I will the PlayStation.
Yeah, that's I definitely want both of them. It's just a matter of time, and so the fact that Halo launches obviously Xbox first, and then PlayStation at some point. So, I mean, I want them to announce all these games I'm hoping for, like Resistance coming back and next Spider-Man, all these games, but at the same time, now I'm gonna be more conflicted to wanting a PlayStation as well, which I know that I probably won't get that for a while. So, but are you planning on just buying online, or are you gonna try and go to the stores and get them?
Um, it's fun going to the stores because I feel like there's always a good group of people you can sit
Mm-hmm.
there and talk to, and it's just fun. But it's also really nice just to have shit appear at your house.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I'm trying to balance. But if you're gonna go get Xbox on day one, I'm down to do that because it'd be way more fun to have somebody else there.
Yeah, man. It'd be where would you we could maybe figure out a store or wherever you want to pre-order. I'd probably do if I was doing a physical store, maybe GameStop.
That's what I was gonna do as well because I've been saving up a ton of gift cards, hoping that they don't go out of business. Which
Oh,
I think they're gonna be able to stay open at least till the consoles be able to boost it and see if they can stay in business.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So hopefully, because I have a shitload of gift cards, so that's gonna be real sad if they all go away.
I was in there the other day. Um, Actually, when we get into pickups, I'll explain, why. But they were actually pretty busy.
Really?
Yeah, they have a weird setup right now for the whole quarantine thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you have you stand in sections, and each video game console is a section.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Xbox One and PS4 can only have two people at a time looking at them. Switch, I think, had three or two spots. Wii U and Wii was one spot. Only one person was allowed to look at those games, and one person for PS3 and one person for 360 were allowed to look at a time. Pops, of course, I think had two or three spots that people could stand in. But
Huh.
yeah, it was weird. Isn't that weird? Like it's only
Yeah.
one person allowed to look at this stuff at a time.
Even if you're in a group, like if we walked in together.
No, no. If you know each other, I'm sure
Uh,
they don't care.
so that just seems really weird at that point.
They even had tape on the floor to like tell you where to stand when you're looking at that section.
I was been thinking about how weird that shit's gonna be once things are normal. If they're just gonna right away tear that shit out, or if it's gonna kind of stay there and just be precautious, or if they're just gonna, even if they're not precautious, just be lazy and leave it there. And in like a couple of years, like new kids are gonna be like, "What the hell is all this shit?" And it was a different time. But what is it?
Or
Why all of it?
Black
Why is all of it
Friday.
here? Yeah. Uh huh.
Like we always talk about how over the years it's slowly has gotten worse. I think the pinnacle of what people watching was probably for me might have been 2000. I think it was 2009 when I was there when someone got shot at a Target for cutting this lady in line. I think I've told you that story before, right?
Yeah.
Hello,
You there?
can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I could hear you the whole time. I said, yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Yeah. But ever since then, it's just like I'm glad that's the pinnacle because the guy survived. It was just a little pocket 22 that went right through his arm, and she's in prison. But it was so dumb. You're mad someone cut you in line. Now you're in prison for years. But just over the years, it's slowly gotten less and
Yeah.
less and less. It feels like there's less people, and stores are more prepared and way more organized, so you don't have mad rushes that were always fun to watch. And this might be the if I wouldn't like a few months ago be like, oh, there's no way Corona will be still going on. But seeing how things are now, I'm kind of curious if Black Friday will be dead.
Yeah. I was gonna say I hope not, but at the same time, it would be nice to be able to go in and get all the deals. But like most things, unless there's like a huge outbreak or something changes, that could be. I could see that actually being worse than ever because people like to talk about how they're really concerned and all this, but even just things going kind of back to normal now, everybody's like, oh yeah, do whatever, and all the people usually like most things, the people that have preached the most are the ones that are practicing it the least. And but, oh yeah, I'm going to get my hair cut the day they open. I'm going to work out. I can't wait to do this. Which I don't care if people do that. That's they have the right, but it's just ironic that all these people are saying this shit, or all the people I've heard preach it the most about how you need to be safe and what you can't be doing and judging people, and then
God damn, that hurt so bad. Oh, that was a good one. Shit, dude.
you should have thrown
Damn,
him. My kid got famous.
that was a little. Well, it was like sitting there tapping me on my leg, like, "Hey, I gotta get up there. I gotta tell him something." And then he had enough of my shit and just hopped up there and really dug into my. Holy cow, dude! I'm bleeding a little bit. So that's pretty good. Oh, that was then it like went in my skin. It's just my skin went in, and then instead of pulling out like that, it was like pulling out like this. That could be taken so many ways. I don't know if you can see that. Look at that sexy set. Oh, God, that is bleeding. My chest hair. All right. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. That's all I was saying. That it definitely could be the slowest, most dead year, but I could see it being the opposite, where it actually not the worst year ever, but worse than it has been recently, because people are just so cooped up and people are so low on money that they're going to go overboard with sales, and I'm sure that businesses are going to take advantage of having better sales because of that. And so I could see it going either way.
Kind of like Ross's Dress for Less.
What's that?
Oh, it's I guess there we had a couple in when I lived in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, it's like an even cheaper TJ Maxx.
Oh, okay.
It's so it's just clothing and house goods, and they get toys in sometimes too. Like you used to get a lot of McFarlane toys there.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, if something doesn't sell at a regular store, it's like Big Lots. They'd sell it to them, but they always had even just crazy cheap prices. So their business is based on these stores giving them stuff that didn't sell for cheap prices. And since they were shut down for Corona, they had their warehouses were full and more was coming, and they couldn't turn them away. So pretty much everything in their stores were discounted to like. I see people like posting that like all clothing items are 50 cents, and these are like name brand clothing. I think the
Mm-hmm.
full name of the store is Ross Dress for Less or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know a lot of eBayers buy stuff to resell
Yeah,
there.
that makes
But
sense.
so right after Corona was lifted, they basically said like everything's 50 cents, so they could clear a room, empty warehouses, and bring more in.
Huh.
And people were posting pictures of Ross's that they had sold everything in their stores. People just filled up their carts, and it was a
Uh-huh.
mad dash, and there's huge lines, and people camping out and stuff like that. So I think you're right, man. I think people don't feel scared. It won't, especially then.
Yeah.
Um, I think you're right about that. Just seeing Ross
Yeah.
going through that.
Yeah, it's funny how fast people's perceptions can change on things. Like I said, I'm not judging anybody if they want to do shit. I get it, but I just think it's ironic that most people I see doing stuff are the same people are preaching the most about other people not doing stuff and judging people, and then they're the ones doing the most shit now.
Yeah. Or do you remember? Oh man, Gabriel Brothers or Value City before they were just furniture.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's how Ross was. Where Ross is.
okay, I gotcha. Um, I actually meant to talk about it earlier, but now would be a good time with people forgetting the virus and all that. We didn't talk about the NHL coming back.
Yes, boy.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a prime example of it. They announced that they'd be coming back on with the 2014 playoff format. The Columbus Blue Jackets are in it for the fourth year in a row. Go Jackets! And they said that training camp won't even start till July 10th, so we're still probably at least a month and a half till the season starts. But I feel like everything's just moving so fast that that's coming back. The MLS is talking about coming back. The NFL said the teams and coaches could maybe start reporting back to their facilities as early as next week. And I just feel like that's all it takes for people to start forgetting. I know everybody was talking about how things will never be the same and everybody's going to be so precautious. And that could be the case and I could be dead wrong. But like I said, I felt like people are just so reactionary over everything. And sports is actually a good example of people being way too reactionary, not involved in this, just sports on a normal day. That I feel like they preach so much about what they're seeing at the time instead of realizing what can change in such a small period of time.
No, you're right, man. I'm glad to get some sport back. But we could talk about what we've been watching. We get into that. But I've actually
Mm-hmm.
been watching wrestling,
All right.
WWE. Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Just nice to have a little something sports thrown in there.
yeah. Well, I said we still got a while till the NHL is coming back, but it's official now, and it seems like most of them are coming back. The only one I think is going to be the biggest issue is college sports because, like I said, um, it depends so much on. You can't just look at the big programs like Ohio State and Michigan and LSU. You have to worry about over 100 programs and all these schools that could care less about their athletics.
Uh, yeah, I saw Oregon might cancel, and um, Michigan said that they might cancel all sporting if students aren't allowed back on campus. But to be honest with you, I think they've canceled all sporting events for the last probably 20 years.
Got them. Um, did you see the athletic director of Ohio State said that he thinks they could have 24 to 40,000 people at football games,
I did. I did.
which I think that's completely reasonable, and I don't get why they're doing no fans at the games in the first place. I know why they're doing it, but I don't get why there can't be a middle ground. Like the Nationwide Arena for the Blue Jackets holds over 19,000 people, so why couldn't you have 9,000 people there and still follow all the precautions? Especially because groups are still allowed to be together, like people that come together. So not even probably at least 30% of those people could still sit next to get to each other anyways, like in their own groups. So it could easily have 9,000 people in a 19,000 person stadium. I don't really get it.
You know what really sucks is getting out of Nationwide.
Yeah.
How there's always that funneling of people
Uh huh.
at the top floor. I wonder
Yeah.
how they'll be able to deal with that. Like they meter people or what?
Well, you mean if they did that, if they have 9,000 people there?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about when you, especially the very if you, because I never rarely am I ever in the lower bowl for the Blue Jackets, maybe once. But if you're up the upper bowl and you go down to like the waiting area for the escalators,
Mm-hmm.
and there's people always get bottlenecked there.
Yeah.
Arrgh, cat's got my leg now. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I'm not
Hello?
sure if it's, I'm not sure if it's not coming through. I said, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I think your Discord is trying to auto cancel noise and it's
Oh,
getting your voice.
I gotcha. Um, yeah, well, the NHL, they didn't say they're doing it. I just don't see why they said right now that there's no fans. I just don't see why they wouldn't do that. It doesn't make much sense to me.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said why wouldn't. Okay, I thought you said why wouldn't the Buckeyes do it? They could. Oh, okay. Because I
Yeah,
saw they said the Buckeyes said what? They're 28,000. You said.
yeah, 24 to 40,000, 45,000 is what they said, and that's what I'm saying. That makes complete sense because that place holds over 100,000 people, so you could easily still follow all the precautions and have those amount that many people in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know why everywhere I can't do that. Like a Nationwide Arena holds over 19,000. Why can't they have 9,000 people in there and still follow all the precautions and not have this awkward empty stadium?
Yeah, I gotcha. I
Like
just
the
still think the nationwide the exits would still be so jammed up. That for it usually makes more sense just to hang out for a few minutes and then start moving.
like the NFL. I don't know if you heard they are talking about doing no fans and they're talking about echoing fake sound in the stadiums. So that
What?
way, yeah, so that way it sounds like people are there, which sounds way worse than just having no fans, which already sounds terrible. That sounds like a football sitcom, like a laugh track of when you're supposed to make noise. And
What if they hit the wrong thing?
yeah, and yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do it to make it sound natural. If they're really gonna do that, I don't see them doing it. Or
You think they'd still
overseas,
boo the refs?
no, they probably have some cheer in there.
Good
Um,
job.
or I don't know if you saw overseas, they were doing cardboard cutouts of the fans and putting them in
Oh yeah.
I was like, this is so ridiculous.
Did you see? I think it was the national soccer or some soccer team in South Korea was actually used sex dolls.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say next. Uh huh.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll see where it all goes, but like I said, I really don't see why they can't have a middle ground like Ohio State's talking about because I do think it's completely reasonable. The only thing I think you run the issue with there is how do you handle those tickets because that is such a slim amount of people for something that's going to undoubtedly sell out. So I feel like potential for a lot of issues because like why did he get it and I didn't? But Ohio State was talking about how um, it would be priority towards family and close friends, which I think is completely reasonable. But the issue is there's not a lot of reasonable people in the world. So especially I love Ohio State, but Ohio State fans and well, I've been a lifelong fan, which that sucks. But I feel like it's pretty obvious if you're a family member that you should go see your kid play over somebody who's just a fan. But like I said, unfortunately, I could see the angle of that because most people aren't reasonable and probably wouldn't just think like that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely family members.
Yeah, but the NHL I feel like is a little different because I mean, sure, families should be allowed there and everything, but that's not college, so I feel like fans should have the right about it. And the biggest issue there, I feel like, is that everybody has season tickets and everything. I'm pretty sure they got refunded since there wasn't going to be a season, and the regular season got cut off. They're not going to finish the regular season out, so I can see them being upset about it. But I feel like that's a pretty easy way to handle that because we know the season's not going to start for at least a month and a half. So I feel like you could call every season ticket holder because I'm sure it's not more than 9,000 anyways. But hey, if you want your ticket, you can buy it right now, and if not, then somebody else is going to get it, and give everybody a chance that got screwed over at not getting their tickets. Even though I would love a ticket, I feel like that does make sense to contact those people first. I just feel like there's really reasonable, normal ways you can handle it.
Yeah, it's all weird, man. And seeing, I had quite the scare a couple days ago, or was it yesterday? My mom had misheard it. She's like, "Is it true that Golden Corral's going out of business?" I was like, "Don't you say that? Don't you say that, heresy?" And I looked it up. They're closing their corporate locations, and thankfully, the three in Columbus are franchises. But at what point do we this is stop? Because I feel like it's destroying a lot of businesses,
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
and it's not down the line either, man. It's like Walmart, you're fine. Like Walmart, Kroger, Amazon, those guys gotta love it because they're just like posting like record sales, and
Hmm.
meanwhile everybody else is kind of getting the shitty end of the deal.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see where it all goes, especially with sports. We'll get a better idea in the months ahead. Um, Before we get to gaming pickups, I guess I could tell you related animal news since your cat scratched you. My dog Buckeye bit me for the first time in history.
He bit you?
Yeah, first time in history.
Yeah.
It was definitely was my fault, but I've been playing it up and talking about how he's bit me and I can't trust him anymore. So he was al- he was already in a crazy mood playing with toys, and I can take toys right out of his mouth, take food out of his mouth, everything. He doesn't bite me, and so he's already crazy. And instead of keep playing with his toy, I grabbed onto my shorts and let him bite those. And he was like pulling on them and yanking him back. And then I pushed him away from my shorts. And then he came back to bite on it. And I moved my shorts. So he went to bite for the shorts. And his big tooth just went straight into my leg. And it actually hurt quite a bit. And just you can see a straight tooth mark. But like I said, it was completely my fault when he wasn't even trying to bite me. But I've been playing it up like I can't trust him anymore. And he just attacked me.
You flinch every time he comes in the room?
Yeah, I actually made that joke with Danielle. Yeah, I was like, oh god. Um, but yeah, it's so funny because um, the next day he grabbed a whole chicken breast out of the trash can. Danielle was like, Case, can you come get it? And he was under the table, and I reached under and took a whole chicken breast right out of his mouth, and he didn't even bite me. So yeah, he definitely
Oh
still won't.
my god.
He just let me take it out of his mouth. But
Was it raw?
Yeah, well, it was frozen, but yeah, it was no good.
That's hilarious.
Um, so yeah, obviously, still won't bite me because he let me take a fucking chicken breast out of his mouth. But I've been playing it up like he's just some disastrous thing now. Um, so you said gaming pickups. I don't have any. What do you got?
um, you gotta give me a second. I go grab them. Is that fine?
Yeah.
I run and go grab them real quick.
Uh huh.
Keep the show rolling here.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, buddy. I'll be right back.
Okay. I don't like the sound of this. And he's gonna come back with some horrific games. Especially look at the way he's walking. And he spiked the mic by putting his headset down. He's just very unprofessional. I don't understand it. I'm considering doing a solo show so I can rant and talk about random things. So I don't have these awkward bits at the end that don't really connect to this show. So let me know if you guys think I should do that. And if I should, do you have any good names for a random show like that? Be talking about like social issues, politics, coronavirus, all that nonsense. Let me know because he's back.
Power to the players. All right, I'm back.
All right. Thanks, GameStop ad.
I was gonna check my chest, man. It's actually kind of hurting. Yeah. So I stopped over at GameStop. They had their what is it called? Their Memorial Day sale, Memorial Day weekend sale, and I had that some credit saved up and that $5 thing. So I better get over there. And I've been watching a YouTuber that works with Metal Jesus Rocks, Reggie, and he's doing a series on games that GameStop sells relatively cheap that he expects to go up in value or they're worth picking up while they're nothing before GameStop stops selling them
Mm-hmm.
and inevitably going up in price. So I went and I was like, let me go buy some of those titles because FOMO. Uh, and right now, and it's something they do a lot. The manager there, that GameStop, I really like him on Morse Road. He told me that they do the sale a lot, but and it might be a continuous thing. But 360 and PS3 games, it is buy two get two on $9.99 or less, and there's a lot of $9.99 or less games.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'll start with some of the weird stuff. Like he had it off to the side and he told me about it was the collector's edition for 8-bit armies, which is I think is a this might have been a GameStop exclusive. I'm not sure.
How much was that?
This was $12.
Huh.
Yeah, he said he actually marked it down and put it at used, but it kind of looks like a. I used to play this game called Ace of Spades, and this kind of almost looks like a version of that. And it's $12 because I wanted to buy the game anyways, and the fact that the collector's edition, I think at the time is buying it $12.99 is um, less than what the game actually costs itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got Xbox Christmas ornaments. You know, these were $2. So I said, why not? You know, definitely. Also, I bought this stuff right before this house stuff happened. So I was like, man, I
Yeah.
shouldn't have bought this stuff.
Before we get to the next thing, I can ask you a couple of questions about your ornaments.
Uh
So, are you guys gonna get a real or fake tree?
huh. Definitely a fake one. I'm a fake tree guy.
Oh, you motherfucker! You need to get a real one. You'll change your mind. Danielle was a fake tree girl as well. There's nothing like it.
My mom's huge into Christmas trees. She puts a probably right around I don't know after Thanksgiving or she probably honestly starts after Halloween. She'll do a Christmas tree in each room, a different theme,
Mm-hmm.
and she would always try to get a real one. And I just remember my mom like watering it, and then removal was always a crazy thing. Trying to figure out some place to get rid of it after you're done.
Huh.
And I remember sap and being sticky and pine needles being everywhere, and then my mom having to get underneath it and watering it.
So some of that is true, but especially if she was over the top like that, she probably did way more than you needed to and went crazy with it because we got ours, I think, mid November and kept it past Christmas and watered it once a week, and it stayed healthy past Christmas. And it depends what kind of pine tree you get. We get the kind that are thin needles, so they're not sharp and aren't pokey and really annoying. They do fall off a fair amount, but I mean, all you gotta do is sweep that up. And then the sap is an issue if you're grabbing directly on the tree and you're like messing with it. But I mean, the only time I really do that is when I'm first setting it up. And then disposing of the tree, that should be pretty easy. I mean, we have it really easy at our apartment because they said if you set it out by, I think, January 2nd, they'd pick it up. But
Oh wow!
most neighborhoods do it too. Like cities, they'll tell you that you have to have it out on New Year's Eve or whatever, and they'll come pick it up.
Oh, I
So
didn't know that.
yeah, so it's pretty easy, and you just set it out like in front of your mailbox, and they just grab it.
Huh? Yeah, maybe it'd be fun to go out like to a place and pick one and
Oh yeah, it's
all
so
that
cool.
jazz.
hmm Would she let you use the Xbox ornaments no matter what tree you got?
Yeah, yeah, she don't care. She does not care.
I got
I
you.
actually have. I've been waiting for this. I've been stockpiling ornaments just for this.
hmm
I have a bunch of South Park ones that are ready to go, and video game controllers, and I got a bunch of nerdy shit ones. So
I
just
got
gonna
you.
have to be okay with it.
There you go.
I was gonna say something, but now I can't. Oh, funny story. So my mom was always real serious about Christmas trees,
hmm
and she would decorate a bunch. And my sister loved playing this game where my sister would get on her back. This already sounds dirty, but she would get on her back and put her knees to her chest, and I would balance on her feet, and then she would throw me across the room. And I get pretty high, but I always thought, wow, that's a lot of fun. But looking back on it, I was like, man, we really could have like broken our leg
Uh huh.
or broken my arms or anything. But so one time she launched me and I landed in a Christmas tree. It brought the whole Christmas tree down
Oh my God.
and made a huge mess. So me and my sister blamed the cat, which my mom would have stopped and thought about it. It made no sense. We had the laziest cat in the world. He didn't do anything. But we blamed the cat. My mom was so mad at the cat. And then she, for forever, pretty much, this had to have been maybe 2000. I was really young, so I was still young enough that my sister had no problem picking me up and throwing me. So maybe 99, 98, something like that, really little. And my mom believed that all the way till probably about 2014. We finally told her that it was actually me that brought the whole tree down.
Not
But
bad.
yeah, so we there was like a heist.
Uh
Got
huh.
away with it, man. Um, let me see here. Let me split these up. Split these. Oh, then I got this guy. Um, I ended up getting him for $5, and it sells on eBay for like 30. But
hmm
it's Gene from Bob's
Oh yeah.
Burgers with his little keyboard there. Look at that. That's just cute. That's cute. Oh, I needed this stuff for the. Oh Jesus! I needed this stuff for the house though. Every time I think the bag's empty, I find another one. So I'll start off with the least cool one.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed these games when I was a kid, and I remember playing one where it was like plugged straight into the TV.
hmm
I was really into paintball as a kid, but it's Greg Hastings Paintball 2
Oh yeah.
for
I used to
360.
love that. Yeah.
Um, But the reason I got it is I like on rail shooters, and most paintball games are on rail shooters. But I think these ones you actually move around a little bit, and they're more like Call of Duty.
Yeah, at least the
And
old
it's
ones were.
what's that?
The old ones definitely were, yeah.
Yeah, man. And it has it's complete. It's in really good shape. Still has its manual. But then the best part is it comes with this pass. This I don't know if it was the first run of games or if you had it was a certain store had this, but you have a free field and rental pass inside, and they are available all over the United States. And this is from 2010, but this has no expiration date. So technically, I could still take this somewhere and use it.
Uh huh. Did you play the first paintball game of his?
That's the real value, you know.
Did you play the first paintball game of his?
Uh, Tenshu Z on the 360. This one's also complete in really good shape. And the manager also knows I'm really anal about cases and manuals. So he will actually go through there and look at all of his copies
Mm-hmm.
and choose the best one for me. Because sometimes, even if there is an empty case on the floor, they have cases and manuals behind the desk sometimes. Um, Test Drive Unlimited. I like these little racers.
Yeah.
It was also complete and in really good shape. Uh, I think I already have this, but it was worth it for the price. Star Ocean: The Last Hope.
Mm-hmm.
This has got a crazy amount of discs too. Complete. Um, I do not own this game, but I played it. Um, I had played it and really liked it back in the day, and I played the newest, well, the one before this one, the newest one. It's Dead Rising on the
Oh yeah.
360. I like this little disclaimer on the front. This game was not developed, approved, nor licensed by George A. Romero. I would love to see George A. Romero at that time develop a video game, like actual coding. And then I picked out a game that I was really excited for. I forget what it was, but then he realized they didn't. Oh, it was Operation Raccoon City.
Oh
That was
yeah.
on his list of games to pick up while they're cheap at GameStop. But they didn't have it, so I had to settle with Dynasty Warriors 7. It was also complete, in really good shape. And then I never played this one, but I really wanted to. I think there's a remaster out of it now. I know there's a remaster out of it now, but Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited. I like the premise of that one.
Mm-hmm.
Just sounds cool. This is a game I always wanted to get as well, and that is Deadpool
Oh yeah.
for the 360.
Yeah, I heard that was actually pretty
It's
fun.
also another one where he went through and picked out a better case for me. Um, and this is Diablo 3,
There you go.
case
I
and
have that.
manual. Another one where he searched and found me a better case. He's such a nice guy. I love that guy. I'll save that one for last. That's what I'm most excited about. I didn't expect to find this one, especially for the price. But we'll save that one. Deus Ex, Human Revolution. This is on his list. Case and manual. Almost a little too minty. Fresh out the wrapper. And then a PS3 game, Starhawk, which was a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah,
That's
that
been on my
was
list for quite a while, but it's for some reason having a hard time tracking down a decent copy that was complete.
that's all online, isn't it?
Found it, and so I said, sure, I'll go ahead and
Is
pick it up.
isn't that all online?
My favorite find, I was really shocked to find this, and if it was going to sit on the shelf any longer, was a Fuse for the 360.
Mm-hmm.
It's also in super minty condition, which of course is made by Insomniac Games. So he was telling me, I don't know how truthful, I mean, I believe him because we were talking about other stuff, but he said that it's kind of sought after now that since Insomniac is Sony and they don't think that this will be the only way to play this game from, going on into the future. I don't know if Microsoft has the rights to it or what. At least on an Xbox
Mm-hmm.
sense of things. But yeah, that's my whole pickup. Most of the games were $2.50 a piece because of the 4 for $10. Buy two get two, or if they're most of my $5 to $6 ones, and the $10 ones, which there was only 4 of, would have been $5 a piece, right? Yeah, $5 a piece. So none of those games were above $5. With the ornament and the action figure and the collector's edition, I think it was actually I got the receipt here. The grand total was $60. So I feel
Not
like
bad.
how many games is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games. So I can't count. 14 games, ornaments. Well, technically 15 with the collector's edition and an action figure is not that bad for $60.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
You still there, Casey?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, it's just me. I'm all by myself. Are you muted?
No, can you hear me?
Maybe I'll call Casey on the phone, see if he'll pick up. Casey.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I talked a few times while you were doing the games, but I was guessing you couldn't because you weren't stopping. But my mic's lighting up every time I talk, so I'm not sure if it's going.
So you can still hear me right now. This is still the podcast.
Uh huh.
Oh, that's great. I love it. Okay, let me. I'll call right back.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Man, what the hell's going on here? Yeah, let me play some music here and see if I can hear that. Man, no, I can't hear anything. It's definitely on my end. Hold on. What? Oh, I guess it would help. Somehow I got muted,
Can you hear me?
but I still can't hear you. It won't let me unmute. Oh, say something now.
Hello.
Oh, how about that, dude? I muted myself. I
Um,
I muted my audio, not myself. Sorry.
no, I had a feeling because I said quite a few things, but I was like, I'll just stop saying it because I'm pretty sure you can't hear me. Um,
I probably sound like a huge asshole. You're probably like, yeah, that game. Like, yeah. So, anyways, next game. Oh, Jesus. That
no,
was.
that is how it sounded, but that's why after it kept happening, I was like, all right, I guess it can't. I'm guessing it can't hear me. Um, I can try and remember the few things I was saying. Great Hastings, you said you played the first one.
I remember playing. Yes, on the original Xbox, I think.
Do you remember there's a level based all around Balls Corona?
No. What is that?
The energy drink that we always have.
Oh no, I don't
That's
remember that.
that's what really caught our interest because we love paintballing, and then that energy drink we were obsessed with. And there's a course. It's just nothing but balls, like all the obstacles and things you go around are bottle of balls and advertising for balls.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was definitely my favorite level. And yeah, those games aren't on rail. They're like move around, and I was gonna say
Do you,
tactical, but not really tactical.
did you ever have the one where I think I was thinking on rail is did you ever have the paintball gun that plugged into your AV cables and you actually have the paintball gun
No.
and you shoot at your screen with it?
Mm-mm.
That's I spent a lot of time on that thing.
Huh. Um. What else did I talk about? Now I'm already blanking. But
You want me to go over the some of the games again?
yeah, you can read them really quick. See if I remember.
So speed round, paintball, tension Z, test drive unlimited, Star Ocean, the Last Hope, Dead Rising, Dynasty Warrior 7, Assassin's Creed 3, Deadpool, Diablo 3, Deus Ex, Human Revolution, Starhawk, and Fuse.
Okay, yeah, I remember a few of them. I said I had Diablo 3 if you ever want to play that, because I was actually liking it, but the person I played with dropped out in co op.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
I think the game's a lot of fun. It's a good waste of time kind of game. Um, and then Starhawk, isn't that game all online? Or is there anything that's offline?
Oh no, there's definitely some offline.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I think there's a whole campaign. I know it's got multiplayer, but I think there's a whole campaign.
Because I know the servers are shut down. That's what I was wondering if it was still even playable.
Yeah, offline 1 to 2 people.
Okay.
Because it was on that Reggie's list, and I think he would have mentioned that. I think he mainly focuses in fighters, and I don't think he really talks about multiplayer too much.
I gotcha. And then the only other two was I heard Deadpool was good. So if you actually played
It's
that, let me
good.
know what you think. That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was working at Subway at the time. Gosh, it was a couple years after I graduated, and my manager there had a he got it right as it came out, and he told me it was amazing. But he's also the same guy that would buy WWE games every year and say they're amazing.
Yeah. From the reviews I saw, it didn't look like a standout game. It just looked like it was better than most of the games that are like that, the property games that come out. So I feel like for us that play a lot of games, it'll probably just seem like good and mediocre. But I feel like it probably stood out more because you're used to those games being so terrible.
Also, I can give you a little insider here
Hmm.
because the Reggie videos it made me curious. I was like, man, what point do they stop selling the 360 and PS3 games? So I went and I asked him. I was like, bro, have they, has GameStop talked about this at all to you? He's like, they have, but basically what they're saying is they're just essentially going to stop taking, like right now, they're not taking any trade-ins on 360 or PS3 games during the Corona thing. But he thinks that they might stop and only accept backwards compatible 360 games
Oh,
or big titles that people would want for like Wii or PS3 and 360.
yeah.
And he thinks they would hang on to the sought after games for those consoles, but all of the Snickle Fritz or your filler titles they wouldn't accept anymore.
That makes sense business wise.
Yeah, and backwards compatible makes sense too because
Yeah.
they'll still be able to play on your new Xbox.
Yeah. Um, and then Fuse, you're talking about that from Insomniac. They're obviously one of my favorite developers. Did you ever play that game?
No, man, he was really excited though. He's like, "You're gonna really like this."
Yeah, I want to give that game another chance because I said they're one of my favorite developers, and I remember trying the demo and I was really underwhelmed. But I feel like I like them so much that I might have not given it a fair shot, especially because I don't know if you remember the development of that game. It kept getting
Mm-mm.
pushed back, and the original art style was completely different, and it looked much cooler. And then they changed it, so I feel like my views on it might have been skewed a little bit based off of the delays and being excited for it, and then the art style getting changed and being bummed out. But I feel like maybe I didn't give it a fair chance. Want to try again?
Yeah, and I feel like I'm trying to think. I don't really know many um, Xbox 3 or and bad Insomniac games.
Yeah, I can't think of any.
And even so, even if this is their worst game, I feel like would still be wow, that was pretty decent or whatever.
Oh yeah, even the demo, I don't remember about this is fucking terrible. I was just like, and put it to the side.
I think even right now, you could pick up. I'm on eBay right now trying to figure out a. Um, I think right now like $10 is a good going price for it. I picked it up for 250, which is why he was kind of like if it's sitting there any longer, I was going to grab it,
Hmm.
kind of thing. But even on eBay, which is going to be your highest priced areas, it's just still only $10.
Okay.
So if you plan on buying 360 and PS3 games and Wii and Wii U and Vita and DS, whatever that generate was seventh generation or is that sixth generation? I can't remember what generation that is. But now's the time to do it because it's I think it's only going to go up from here. It's pretty
Yeah.
much reaching the bottom right now. That's why you just saw me just name off 14 games right after I said we need to start playing more. But I'm just afraid that my time to buy these cheap is running out.
Yeah. Um, it's funny you mentioned Vita. I meant to talk about the state of play. I didn't watch it, and this isn't a spoiler. Have you seen the great memes coming out of the state of play about the Vita?
No.
So in one of the scenes, Ellie is killing. She's strangling some girl, and the girl has a Vita in her hand for some reason. And so there's been a ton of great memes about it. One I saw said they really want people to think this game's realistic, and they said it in 2038, and that's why somebody still cares about a Vita. That's so great. And then I know a lot of people hate on Polygon, but they actually had the funniest one I saw. It said Ellie kills the last Vita supporter, and then she's just in there strangling this person with a Vita.
Which I mean, honestly, it's kind of what Sony did with the Vita, anyways.
Yeah, I don't feel like Sony put a Vita in there either, so I don't know if Naughty Dog just thought it'd be cool to have it in there. But I feel it's weird because they never made a Vita game themselves, so if they wanted to support it, I'm not sure. I feel like with how big they are, they could have a really small team, make something really cool, and support the Vita. Not that there's no way they're gonna do it now, but I mean, like a year or two into, I'm surprised they didn't.
Yeah, especially with already having one of their Uncharted being on there and considered,
Yeah,
even though they didn't make it, but Uncharted was considered like the best Vita game
yeah, yeah. That game was
Western.
really fun. I didn't even finish it, but I need to another game. Um, so have you not been playing anything at all this week? I know you said that you haven't been playing anything. I didn't know if there really hasn't been anything at all.
I said enough's enough, and I'm tired of like frantically running around here and feeling damp drywall and freaking out about it. But so I sat down and played The Witcher for a couple hours and gave myself a little break.
I gotcha. Nothing else besides that.
No, that's
I
it, man.
gotcha. I played a couple more hours more of Sunset Overdrive. Still loving that game. Just nothing but fun. Can't take it serious, but so much fun. I still can't wait for you to get to that scene we talked about last time. Um, I also probably need to start shutting off my Xbox so I can accurately track games. I wonder how long I've been playing this game. And at most, I'd guess 5 hours. But my tracker says I'm almost at 17 hours because I've left it on the menu so much. So I'm like, oh, okay, I need to stop doing this because my stats like aren't that much higher than yours. And it said you play like 2 hours, and mine's almost at like 17 hours. Um,
That's fantastic.
yeah, been playing some more of the regular. Been playing some Madden, working through our franchise. Um, I'm undefeated besides that one bullshit game that got simulated, and played a lot of MCC. I've been playing the multiplayer on there. Halo just never gets old to me. And then my little sister got on, and we played some Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville, and I haven't played that one yet. I actually liked Garden Warfare, both of them a lot, so I haven't played that one. And it was actually a shitload of fun, and I was liking it a lot. And then played more Destiny 2, and again had a shitload of fun, and still have no fucking clue what I'm doing, but it's a good time for some reason.
Yeah, those especially Garden Warfare always felt like a little kid's Gears of War. I liked it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember when they initially announced at E3. That was one of the best reveals ever because they called it Garden Warfare. Warfare, obviously, to play off of Modern Warfare because that's when that blew up. And the trailer at E3 was so over the top, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, what is this?" And then busts out into Plants vs Zombies, and this is fucking awesome. And
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, I feel like it's a perfect game that people that aren't into that game, aren't that into games, can play it and have fun, but you can be actually really good at it, and there is a lot of skill to it. So I feel like it's like a good mixture instead of something like Call of Duty or tactical shooter where it takes so much to get really good at it. Um,
What flower would you use?
I like switching between them because I like they're so different. I think their classes are cool and everything. But my favorite was the corn. I feel like
Oh yeah.
yeah, I don't think he is, but I think I just play with him better. I feel like he's almost overpowered, but like I said, I feel like that's just because he fits my play style better because the game does seem balanced. But the corn is definitely the one I rocked, and he's the funniest too. He looks my almost like borderline inappropriate with the corner stalks coming out of the back, like giant ass cheeks. And you gotta see his run animation in this game. I was laughing out loud. It was fucking awesome.
I think mine was the pea shooter.
P sure, yeah, he's a classic. He's the one they usually start with, and you could do the little army thing with him. Um,
I think I might have messed around with the sunflower.
yeah, that's like the healer essentially.
Yeah, I was about to say that he healed. Yep.
Well, if you see Neighbor Veil cheap, that game is so much fun. That's the only reason I haven't played it more is because none of my friends really play that game. But that game is a shitload of fun. Um, you been watching anything?
Um, just a few documentaries,
Okay.
but that's really the extent of it. Um, did I talk about Clerks on the last episode?
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that's probably the last actual movie I've watched.
All right.
Because while I'm at
Okay.
work, while I'm on like little breaks and stuff, I'm doing eBay stuff because I um, can't do it at home because I'm like focusing on the home stuff.
Yeah, I gotcha. Um, I just watched a decent amount. So at the drive-ins, the first night I saw Sandlot, which I can't tell you the last time I saw a movie, but I used to watch it. That was one of those like repeat movies as a kid that I just watched over and over. And I posted on my Snapchat that scene where the kid throws up and they're at the fair and that song's playing. I don't know what it's called, but that whole scene and song's just ingrained in my head, and that movie's so awesome. And then I think 2 days later we went again to see The Greatest Showman, which I'm not a fan of musicals, but I like that movie a lot, and I think there's aspects to like that movie if you don't like musicals. But more than those movies itself, it was just kind of again getting out and the drive-in and kind of feeling like a kid again, especially the first one being Sandlot. It was just really cool, and the weather was perfect for it. It was like not hot but not cold. I had a hoodie on. It was this just so much fun. It was at Easton, which is like a big mall around here, but it's at a new part. I don't think you've probably been to, Cody, and it's a really nice setup. And behind you, they have this ridiculous Columbus sign on this dirt mound to replicate Hollywood, and they have these lights all around it. Oh, this is so awesome. I think you would like it a
Is it
lot.
free?
No, but it's only $10 per car. Like even most drive-ins usually paying per person, so you just pay for the whole car, no matter how many people you have in it. It's only $10,
Wow.
and the quality of it's probably better than most drive. The screens isn't as big, but the quality of it, the picture looks way better. The sound is way louder, and the only issue that I've noticed is that the sound kind of echoes. But we went the first 2 nights they did it, so I'm sure that's the kind of stuff that they can get better and improve as they do it. Um,
Definitely.
yeah, Then besides that, me and Danielle watched more Dave. That show just keeps being funny. I think we're like halfway through it, so I don't really want to finish it because season two is probably still a while away. But it's just so funny. Then we watched. It was another Mandalorian Monday, so we watched episode four of the Gallery, and this one was about technology. I think you'd be really interested in this episode. I think it's the best one so far. It was super interesting. Just talked all about the technological side of it, and how they filmed it, and how they did it, and everything. And there were a lot of things in there that I've never even seen them do before. Like John Favreau, if you hear him talk about it, not talk to him, I didn't talk to him. Um,
I've been
it's
impressed, man.
he sounds like somebody that's obsessed with games, which I've never even heard him talk about games. He's talking about how when he filmed The Lion King, they talking about how it's CG, but a lot of it was green screen, and then you had to add stuff in afterwards. And then when you do that, it can mess up the whole thing, kind of like in games when you like re-render one thing, it can mess up the entire thing. You have to redo all everything else with it. So it was crazy. I've never heard this technology before or seen it. Instead of doing a green screen behind it and then adding the CG in, they have this giant LED screen that's made up of thousands of LED screens behind it that makes this 75-foot by 75-foot LED wall, and that's the entire film set. And then instead of having a green screen, that wall just projects or shows whatever they're going to have behind them. So like they have, if they're like on Hoth, then they have a picture of Hoth on this giant screen behind them. So everything just happens in real time. And then he uses a VR headset for a lot of it to see what's happening. And
Holy cow!
yeah, so I'm sure now people know that, and people like to act like know-it-alls. And, oh no, if you watch it, you can tell. But I would have never fucking been able to tell. It's so crazy watching them film it because the entire thing's just this giant LED screen, and the only things that are real were some of the props, like some of the ships or some of the creatures, and then the actors, and then everything else, all the landscape, the things in the background, the buildings, all that is just a fucking screen that you're seeing behind them.
Dang, I didn't even know that stuff existed or was possible.
Yeah, me either. You gotta watch it. It's super interesting. The other ones have been cool, but like I said, it's kind of just almost like a deeper dive into Star Wars and like them obsessing over it. This one was shit that I didn't even know existed and was really cool to see. And like I said, I'm sure people pick it apart now if they know that and talk about how they don't like this and you can tell it's fake and everything. But you gotta see the way they do this. It's just so crazy. And yeah, I didn't know this kind of stuff was possible. Um, and then the next day we had another Taylor Swift Tuesday, as the kids say, which I told you that it was supposed to just be a 1 week thing. But then I remember that we never finished the Prime Day event, which is the Taylor Swift concert from last year. So we watched that. It was a great time, you know. You know what I'm
No.
saying? No, okay. Um, and then I watched some more Lost. I'm still not caught up. I'm kind of sad, but I'm getting there, and I'm loving it. I finished season three, so I'm like, oh, actually, I need to post tonight's episodes, but so I'm only a couple episodes behind. And then the only other thing I watched was the pizza documentary you sent me.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, rest in peace or ride in peace, Bill. Um,
Yeah.
it was entertaining, but a little too depressing for my take, especially. That guy's just such a fucking downer. I couldn't do it.
Really?
Yeah, I know the point of it is trying to be like uplifting. Like, yeah, it's just where I'm at. But I feel like he was doing that, but at the same time, he did. You could tell he's not okay with it. I would not judge him at all if he's just like that was his life, and he's like, yeah, I don't care what people think of me. Like, all right, cool. But I feel like at the same time, you could tell he was really depressed and not okay with it, but just saying he was.
Yeah, and it's an aspect you never think about. It's the delivery drivers, especially in somewhere like New York, where how the fuck do you make rent on a delivery driver's money?
Yeah,
Um, Especially just how the documentary didn't tell you things like you didn't know he was homeless.
Yeah.
Um, and then they're showing some photos like ASAP Rocky was signing paper plates in there, and it's a very famous pizza shop. That's probably pretty successful. You would never expect one of their delivery drivers, especially he almost seemed famous himself,
Yeah.
uh, being homeless. But I would assume, especially with him dying so young and not looking the healthiest in the documentary, maybe some drug use or something. I'm not sure what got him in that predicament, but I don't know. It's just really interesting, especially watching someone drive a bike around New York with a pizza on top.
Oh yeah. No,
Just
it was
insane.
impressive, and it was interesting. Just like I said, a little too depressing. So he actually is dead.
Yeah, he passed away.
Oh, that's depressing because we saw the end. We thought it was a rest in peace, and oh, ride in peace. It's just a name I play on words. So, because it didn't say in the documentary they died, did he? Did it?
No, no.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I forget what he died from. Well, yeah, I can hop on the documentary because there's people in the comment section that knew him personally. Like somebody, he used to be a rider for. Well, he said it in the documentary. He used to ride for delivering stuff, so people know it. Peace, Ride in Peace, Bill is the documentary in case someone wants to watch it. Um, he passed away. He was his nickname was Bilthy because his name was Bill and he was kind of filthy.
Jesus.
So he delivered in Williamsburg, which is a super hipstery place. Um, okay, so fighting. He died. He was only 51. Passed away February 1st. He was fighting. I can't remember what disease it was. And there's a few documentaries people have made on him over the years. There's another one called The Great Tale of the Best Pizzas Delivery Man Bill and Delivery. Um, but yeah, I can't remember exactly. I'm trying to figure out what he passed away from.
Yeah, it makes it even more depressing that he actually did die. Because I was like, that's just makes that much more sad. And another thing I think, even aside from it being sad, I feel like it's hard for me when documentaries are that short to really connect with it. I feel like it's just like a quick YouTube video and stuff like a documentary.
Oh, okay, so here it is, which is kind of is a perforated ulcer. He died from a perforated ulcer, which is which is crazy. Crazy to think. I don't even know how that's possible. I've had that myself. I don't know. I mean, it's incredibly painful. I don't wish on the like it was so painful I couldn't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how you would die from that unless you like bled to death or it was so bad. Um. Oh yes, this is okay. So essentially, had an ulcer, which if you don't get it taken care of, it's just a wound in your stomach and stomach acid splashing up again. It's the fucking worst feeling in the world. But have you ever had a stomach ulcer?
No, I've heard about it though.
So it got infected and he passed away from sepsis. So that makes
Damn.
sense. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's really sad. And I don't want to assume he was using drugs. I don't want to assume that or assume that's why he was homeless. But he just didn't look the healthiest. And
No. Yeah.
you're right. It's definitely a little depressing to watch. But he's a very interesting guy. And I feel like he had a really depressing life. But the fact that he could still, like, he was doing that with a smile on his face and was still incredibly nice to customers. And it's shocking to me because exterior, you're like, oh my, this guy's got to be real jaded and pissed off at life. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, it is cool from that aspect, and that's why I said I didn't think he was a douchebag or anything. I just felt bad because I felt like he was trying to put on a face, but then when you heard him talk about himself, you could tell that he was not actually okay and just depressed. So this is even more sad that somebody's just angry.
yeah, especially because he seemed like he had that kid that he didn't really know either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recommend it. Ride in Peace, Bill, and there's a couple other ones. There's another one from when he was younger. But yeah,
Okay. I guess we can naturally segue into the free games. Uh, so on Xbox One, this one I got a couple days left because this is a weird week for a transition to the next month. So there's gonna be a lot of them. You got V Rally 4 till May 31st, and you got Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr till June 15th, and then I can't believe this is back up. Shantae and the Pirate's Curse till June 30th. When I saw it, I was like, are you shitting me? And that one doesn't start till, I guess I said that's where the new month starts, June 1st to June 30th. And then Xbox 360, only a couple days left on Overlord 2 till May 31st. And then, I don't know if you saw this, they're doing starting on June 1st, a regular Xbox game. And they're going to give away Destroy All Humans till June 15th.
oh wow.
Which I told you how um, I was really excited for that as a kid, and then got pissed I didn't really played it and wanted to give it another chance. Which I
I
definitely
meant to
down.
ask you too. During that time, did you ever play Area 51?
Oh God, I feel like I have. I can't remember. I'll look it up
Like a
after this.
first-person shooter.
God, that sounds so familiar. I'll look it up and we can either talk about it once we're off or next week. Um, but I'll definitely download it since it's free. But I'm trying to figure out if I was like, well, this would be a perfect time to try it. But I'm thinking maybe I should just wait for the remaster because I feel like this might not be the fairest way to play a game like this now.
Yeah.
It might not really. It might still kind of seem like shit. Um, and then on PlayStation Plus, you got Farming Simulator 19 and City Skyline till June 1st. And I don't know if you saw, I feel like they were definitely trying to make up for last month because they have Call of Duty World War II started early. You can download it now till July 6th, and Star Wars Battlefront 2 starting on June 2nd till July 6th.
World at War 2.
What's that?
You say World at War 2?
I think it's World War II, isn't it?
Oh, okay. They have one World at War, I think.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was,
World at War.
yeah.
I, th- I don't know why I thought you said 2.
Well, it is two,
Right.
but World War II.
True.
Um, but I feel like that had to be a make up for the month before. I know,
That's a good one.
yeah. I don't know if it was like directly they heard people complaining, oh, we better get better games. I feel like I don't know how far away to plan these in advance. I feel like if they knew that they had these games, they're like, well, we should probably do these big ones after these bad ones, so that way people are ready for it. Especially the fact that they put out Call of Duty a little earlier than they're supposed to, I feel like indicates that they knew they were getting some shit.
Yeah, I think you're right. That because I saw that pop up as well, and I was like, I really wish that was on Xbox. But yeah, I just couldn't believe it. But then I went to GameStop and I was like, how much does this cost on Xbox? And I think it was somewhere like it was definitely under $15, and I want to think it was like somewhere right around 10
No, really.
for physical.
Okay. Did you ever activate your PlayStation Plus?
No, no, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for because I so sporadically play that, and it's usually single player. I'm waiting for the multiplayer, and I'll pop it in and um, use it.
Multiplayer for a certain game or just something?
Just something that's going to keep me on PlayStation for a second, to where I feel like,
Yeah, I gotcha.
um, yeah.
Um, and then I think that's it. You got any? I don't think we mentioned it. I know we didn't last week. Maybe in the week before. You got any fake outrage?
No.
I don't either this week, sadly. Um, there's too much real outrage of. Well, some of it's kind of fake right now, but too much nonsense going on right now for that. Um, anything else then?
No, that's it, man.
All right. Well, as always, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Current Backlog. And you can email us any corrections, questions, or feedback to currentbackloggers at gmail.com. You still down for some games tonight?
My Xbox is not hooked up, or PS4, unfortunately.
Oh, so no games.
Nah, I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh, no, it's okay. I'll probably just be lonely.
Make me cry? Not.
All right. Well, you got anything else you want to say, buddy?
I love every one of you. Yeah, I actually do have something to say. Um, a YouTuber I really like passed away. Dave Parks, R.I.P. Um, and he was really a driving force behind our first YouTube channel. He was the reason that I dumpster dived, and we had that whole saga of dumpster diving, and led to the first podcast. And um, it's really been making me sad that he passed away, and seeing because we were friends on Facebook, and this guy would get millions of views. There's no reason for him to talk to me, but he would talk to me and give me advice about editing, and um, would always respond to my messages, and he was the nicest guy in the world. And but yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I think it might have been suicide, judging by his last Facebook post. So if anyone ever is sad out there, you could always reach out to me, and I'll talk to you, or just reach out to somebody. But so yeah, I hate to end on that sad note, but R.I.P. Dave Parks,
No.
and yeah, that's it.
No, that's a good note to end on. And obviously not the note you want to end on, but it's positive in the end. The way like you're
That's right.
ending it, and yeah. All right, man. Well, I'll see you later, and everybody else, thanks for watching.